In this video, we're taking a look at build quality issues with the Longse IP and TVI cameras we've tested. We're starting with the worst offender, which is this plastic eyeball. It's the LIRDL-S200. So it's 1080p eyeball camera. So this is an all-plastic housing. It's very light. It's probably only a few ounces. And there's a couple of major problems with it. I mean, aside from the housing just feeling honestly kind of cheap, the first major problem is there's really no way to actually clamp down the eyeball. So the base turns but never locks anything in. It just keeps spinning and spinning, doesn't actually tighten. So no matter what, I mean, you could put this up on your wall and still somebody could come by and with very little pressure de-aim that. The second issue is the eyeball itself actually just pops right out. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to push out. I just pushed on it lightly with my thumb. So it is really easy to grab and pull out. And once it's out, we actually had one of these come apart in our hands. We did tear one down fully, but if you just put a little bit of pressure, you can see that that seam right there opens, and it actually just twists about 2 millimeters, and it's off. And that's all there is to it. So we don't recommend the plastic eyeball housing. We also have a plastic version of the bullet housing. So this is the LBM24. Again, all plastic bullet. Feels a little bit better, but again, still very, very light. We actually thought that we'd be cracking this thumb turn as we tightened it, or find cracks as we applied pressure to tighten other things, but we didn't actually find that. But still, it just feels lighter. Most people are used to cast aluminum housings like we see on the Hikvision and Dahua cameras, and even some of the other Longse we'll look at in a second, so not recommended. On the bullet cameras, pretty much every single one we tested, plastic or not, this joint in the back here was loose, so it actually shipped partway loosened, and you can just turn that out and you're looking into the back of the camera. So that's one. If we take a look at another, we'll see the same thing. This one actually was shipped loosest of all, so we can unscrew that. And if we look at, even this was the most solid housing we had, all aluminum, even that was loose on this camera. So do note that on this model at least, if we can look down in there, it's difficult to see on video here, but there is Grommet in there. It does look like they used a rubber gasket, but I wouldn't trust that. I would actually apply silicone or plumber's tape onto the back of this if you're going to use it. Aside from that, the aluminum housings actually feel pretty solid. So this is very similar to some of the Dahua models we've tested, sort of the more squared off bullet, similar to what W-Box is using from Hikvision as well. Standard sort of IR Illuminator layout we've tested. So these do feel pretty solid. They feel more like a professional IP camera at least, very similar to Dahua, Hikvision, and their OEMs.